I was busy getting ticked off that MrBeast rented out the pyramids. Which, yeah, if you're like, what? Apparently, MrBeast has secured rights to rent out the Great Pyramids at Giza for 100 hours, and he's gonna film videos in it and like sleep inside the pyramids or whatever. I think this is exactly everything that's wrong with modern antiquity in Egypt. They're willing to do stuff like this, but there have been archaeologists and architects and stuff that have wanted to do research within the pyramids, because there's like entire cavities in the pyramids that are, as of right now, unexplored. And there's archaeologists that want to do research on it, but they're not granted access because they're from like France, or because they don't have the money for the permits and Egypt doesn't want to foot the bill to let them in there. But MrBeast can go in there and do it. So hopefully he does something like a big grant for further research on the pyramids or something, but I think that's probably unlikely. Is that even legally allowed in Egypt? Researchers won't bring the eyes of millions of kids. I guess priorities are funny these days. And I'm sure he paid them a lot. Like the unfortunate reality is that a lot of like those sites, especially in the Middle East, a lot of those sites are run by fairly corrupt antiquity departments within the government, and it is pay to play. Like if you have the money to donate this grant to this person's organization or whatever, then you get access to the site. And if you don't, you don't. Like, it's really unfortunate, but that's a big thing. The other thing is that in Egypt specifically, there has been for a long time a sort of hard-on for big media and exposure through media. If you've watched any ancient Egyptian documentaries, you'll know this guy, Dr. Zahi Hawass. This is the guy I've told you guys about before on stream because he famously banned Beyonce from the pyramid complex because her photographer was being disrespectful. So he banned her for life from the pyramid complex. What kind of baller dude bans Beyonce from the pyramids? Like, how based is that? It's pretty baller. But one of the things with him is that he blew up and became super famous because he would wear the sort of Indiana Jones fedora look. And then he also would go and did a ton of TV with National Geographic and Discovery Channel and History Channel and all that. One of the interesting things is that he's always kind of had this approach where if you're going to bring exposure, he will bend the rules for you unless you're Beyonce. But part of that also, he does not seem to be a person who's that, there's no other way to say it. He's had a series of pretty sizable run-ins with women. There was a female archaeologist from England. She put forward a few theories he didn't like, and so he banned her from the country permanently. Like, imagine being an Egyptologist and then you get banned from Egypt because he doesn't like some of the stuff you're putting out. Like he, for example, he has very specific theories about the pyramids, some ideas of how the pyramids were put together. And if you come forward and you put together other stuff, he doesn't play with that. Like there's a modern theory from a French archaeologist that the pyramids were put together using internal tunnels and internal ramps that were built sort of as part of the structure of the pyramid. And some of that still remains inside the pyramid, which is why there's some vaults and gaps in them. He also like banned those guys. So the point is it's dysfunctional unless you're MrBeast. How do you just ban someone from the country? Well, so to be clear, they can ban you from the country or they can just ban you from the archaeological sites that the Supreme Council of Antiquity runs. And if you're an Egyptologist, being banned from archaeological sites is tantamount to being banned from the country. Because like, why would you go to Egypt to just hang out in Cairo when you just want to be researching the sites? So talking about the air vents, no, those air vents, those little bitty, I guess, yeah, you could just call them vents. Those little bitty passageways that tunnel all the way to the outside of the pyramid. Those things they've researched and looked at for a long time. There are these little bitty holes that are in the pyramid that are really, really weird, but they just vent straight out. These are well known, but there are entire like gaps within the pyramid. Like there's a void above the entrance, like right here, that nobody knows anything about. They did it with some sort of bizarre like telemetry data and then also analyzing the gravitational force or whatever. I have no idea how they do it, but they found that there's a void in the pyramid there. So a big empty space inside, and they don't know why. They don't know what it is. It shouldn't be there because it's a pyramid and you don't want any voids in that because it's very, very, there's a lot of weight coming down on top of that. You don't want any structural weakness in there, but there is a void there and nobody knows why. But yeah, no, we don't need to give researchers access. Let's just let Mr. Beast film a video. Maybe we'll just do that. Yeah, that's fine. I hope it's that Mr. Beast gave them money that they're going to use for further research. I hope that's what it is. If that's the case, welcome, Mr. Beast. Do 15 videos there. But if it is just like literally he's going to film, we're going to see how long we can stay in the pyramid before we go crazy. And for each block of limestone you eat, you win $100,000. Let's go. If it's that kind of thing, I'm going to be upset.